Hey everybody, Matt here. I'm going to be doing a review today of the Smith & Wesson M&P Compact. Now, for some of you who've been on my channel for a while, or may have watched some of my old videos, you know I actually did a review on this. It was a two-part review. That was my very first video ever. And I was looking back on it the other day, and I realized it sucked. It was horrible. It did have a lot of information in it, but it really just wasn't a good review. And on top of that, it was two parts, which really nobody even made it to the second part. You look at the views on it, and the views for the second part were like a third of the views for the first part. So very few people would actually stick around for the entire thing, and that's just kind of how it is when you have a multi-part video. Just something I didn't know when I first started on YouTube. So I'm gonna go through this review here real quick. I'll say real quick, whatever, however long it takes, but trying to give it the review that the pistol deserves. So first off, obviously, we're looking at a Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Compact. Now, as far as what you might buy this gun for, I'm going to say for me, what I purchased it for and what I use it for is for a concealed carry. That's why I went out and bought the gun. I was specifically looking for this gun and went out, found one. I love it. This could also easily be like a vehicle gun or a home defense gun. Not necessarily a range. This is a striker fired pistol. It is not double action. Now, a lot of people will refer to guns like this or like the Glock or some of these other striker fired pistols as double action only. And while function wise, as far as how you the operator perceive it, it is very similar between a double action only and a striker fired pistol. They are two different types of pistols. The operations internally are much different. So this, much like a Glock, is a striker fired pistol. As far as what you're going to get when you purchase one of these, if you get one brand new, first of all, you're obviously going to get the pistol. You're going to get spent shell. This is the Smith & Wesson Club 1852 manual, warranty card, all the good shit that comes with any new pistol. You're also going to get 2 magazines. Okay, now I have 3. I've got one in the pistol here. Okay, and by the way, they are all loaded. This is my carry piece. There is not one in the chamber at the moment, but all these magazines are loaded. Okay, you're going to get 2 magazines. You're going to get the gun, obviously. You're going to get 3 back straps, small, medium, and a large. Okay, there's the small and the medium right there. I keep the large on the pistol. Reason being is because I have long fingers and I don't like feeling like my finger is just wrapping around the trigger, so the bigger grip works better for me. Okay, and that's about it, and a nice little Smith & Wesson box. One thing to note on the magazines you're going to get, one of the magazines is going to have a pinky rest, okay, like this one does on the gun, okay, which gives you almost a completely full grip. You can get all your fingers on there if you have skinnier fingers like I do. And one of them is going to have the flat bottom plate. Okay, just a little shout out in Smith & Wesson's favor. I did call them when I first got the gun and asked them how much getting a replacement pinky extension would be, and they just asked me for my address and sent me one free. So that's why all of the magazines I have now have that on it. Alright, so let's jump right into the specs on this thing. This is about, I'm trying to think, about 6.7 inches long, about 5.75 inch slide, about 4 1/8 high. We're right at about 1.2 inches wide, slightly wider than a Glock. Size-wise, it's going to fit right between a Glock 19 and a Glock 26. Probably a little closer to the Glock 26 size than it would be the Glock 19 size, but if you're familiar with those two models, you'll understand where this one fits in. Weight's going to run at right about 21 ounces. Now you can get these in 9mm, 357 SIG, 40 Smith & W, 45 ACP, pretty much all your major calibers. Capacity on this one, now I do not live in a restrictive gun state like California, so capacity on these for the compact in 9mm is going to be 12 rounds plus 1 in the chamber, otherwise it would be 10. These, just like the Glocks and like many firearms today, are when you're talking about a full size and a compact. These will take full size magazines, so you can slap a 17 rounder from a Smith & Wesson M&P full size 9 in this gun and have a 17 round capacity, just like you can on most other pistols nowadays. As far as all the little bells and whistles on the gun, obviously you get the 3 back straps. Okay, the gun itself has the ambi slide lock, so you've got it on both sides. It doesn't have an ambi mag release, but the mag release is switchable from one side to the other if you're a left-handed shooter. As far as the safety goes, now this particular model does not have a safety on it, but if it did, it would be right there. You see that little, where that pin is pushed in. Okay. There are models that have safeties. If they do, the ones I have seen, I cannot say this for all of them, the ones I have seen are ambi safeties, and the safety is on both sides, and it would be positioned right there, just kind of like a 1911. You flip it up and down. Okay. Let's see, what else? This particular model does not have a mag disconnect. Now, if you're like me and you hate magazine disconnects on pistols, you want to make sure the model you get is going to say this, and you see that there? It says caution, capable of firing with magazine removed. Okay, that's the one you're going to want to get. If it does not say that, then it has a magazine disconnect in the pistol, and you can be annoyed just like I would be. The trigger pull on this is going to be right at about, I believe, right at about 6 pounds, 5.5 to 6 pounds, somewhere in there. I think factory, they say it comes with a 6.5 pound trigger. It feels a little lighter and a little bit crisper than that to me. Now, I have heard some people complain about the trigger on these things. Feels a little gritty when they're new, right out of the box. It was not that bad, I'll be honest with you. I've had pistols brand new out of the box that felt a lot worse than this, and were some good, name brand pistols. Now, I will tell you this, after about 200 to 300 rounds, the trigger smooths out a lot on this gun. And once that happens, you do notice a difference. Like I said, when you first get it, unless you're coming from like a 1911 or something like that, and you really are used to a really nice, crisp, smooth braking trigger, you may not notice that it has kind of a gritty trigger. It depends on your experience. Like I said, I did notice it a little bit, but I'm by no means an expert. But hey, whatever. It does smooth out after about 200 to 300 rounds, and you get a nice, good, smooth trigger. This particular model does not have the beaver tail, but full-size models will come with a little bit of a beaver tail there. As far as what you can do with this gun, accessories, how versatile is it? It's a lot like a Glock. Companies like Wolf and Apex and these types of companies are making a lot of stuff for these, as far as barrels and your little back pieces here and your slide locks and different stuff. There are a lot of little what I call little pimp things you can do to your gun to pimp it out. And a lot of little stuff that's coming out. Now, obviously, when you're talking about parts for Glocks, the Glock has been around a lot longer, like almost 30 years. So it's obviously has many more accessories than this does, but these do have a lot of the same accessories that Glock has. You can do things with this, like going from a 40 to a 357 SIG to a 9mm by switching out barrels and making some adjustments there, just like you can with the Glocks. This particular model, and obviously you can't see it here, came with a front night sight. There's your sight picture right there. It's got the 3 dots, standard 3 dots. The rears are just standard regular sights. The front is the Trijicon night sight. As far as it being durable, reliable, all this kind of stuff, people love to talk about their guns, and obviously I know it's, I hate to keep comparing this to a Glock, but let's be honest, when it comes to polymer guns, Glock is what you compare everything to. Okay, and that's just how it is. They're 2 different guns, but that's just how it is. So when it comes to durability, reliability, all that good stuff that you talk about when you talk about Glocks, when you talk about that polymer pistol, let's talk about this one. I've got over 2,000 rounds through it and not a hiccup. Not a single failure to feed, not a single failure to eject. Now, for me, that's unusual. Most of my guns have had at least one or two, especially when the break-in period. This one's had none, so I've been very pleased with it. I do want to make a point here for anybody who does not know, and most of you who watch my channel know this, but for anybody who doesn't know, this is not in any way a Smith & Wesson Sigma series. This is an M&P. This is a completely different class of gun. This is a high-end pistol. Okay, this is a very, very good pistol, not to be confused with Smith & Wesson Sigma series. So yeah, just don't even worry about that. As far as your history on the gun, I mean, these things came out in 2006. I think they did in the was it 06 to 07. They did have a recall on some of the springs, and I'll you know, if you got any questions about that, I can go over that with you if you got any comments. But the spring system in here, as far as for the slide release, I'm sorry, the slide lock. It is not a slide release. There was a recall back in 06, 07 on some of the models, but that had been taken care of. As far as how it looks goes, it's a beautiful pistol. I mean, for me, compared to a Glock, and I've owned a couple of Glocks. I have one now. I've got a Glock 17 that I love. It's a much better looking pistol than a Glock is. It really is much better looking, much more comfortable to hold, much more comfortable to shoot. The grip angle is better. Almost everything on this gun, to me, this is a personal opinion, is better than a Glock. Now, when it comes to Glock, you have to talk about its history. It's got a history of being reliable and durable for 30 years. This pistol doesn't. But, and I'm not putting down Glocks. Like I said, I own Glocks. But to me, in my opinion, this is every bit the pistol the Glock is. And in some ways, when it comes to looks and ergonomics, it's a little bit better than Glock. Now, it'll take another 20 years or so before we can determine whether or not this pistol will prove to be as reliable and dependable as Glock has been. But you know, I'm up for that, and I think in the end it'll prove itself. As far as the price goes, these things are going to run you anywhere from, I'd say, $5 to $575 new. Obviously, there are some specialty models. I've seen some with the full-size models with the long, I forget what they call them, the long slide for like competition shooting and stuff like that, are a little bit more expensive. But your standard models, whether it be compact or full-size, are going to run between $5 and $575. Most places you go. I've seen used ones sell as low as $450. Now, right now, overall, they are a little more expensive than Glock is. That's just because they're newer pistols. I think as they become more popular over the next couple of years and more of them get on the market, they will eventually be more. You know, you're gonna see more of them for less money on the market. So that's about it, man. I'm gonna get out of here. Tried to make this as thorough and entertaining as a review as possible. Tried to make it a little better than my last one. So anyway, that's it. I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you guys watching. You know, get a chance, check one of these pistols out, get your hands on one, go shoot one. I think you'll like it. All right, man. We'll talk to you later.